They say nostalgia is a liar. They say your brain filters out the garbage and leaves you with golden memories in your youth, polished like a trophy. They tell you that the past was a simpler and better time. Well, my brain must be broken, because I've been dreading this specific day for 30 years. I've been staring at the calendar, watching the index creep closer and closer to these two specific titles, feeling a cold sweat that no survival horror game could ever replicate. Welcome to the end of the Littlewoods bundle. If you grew up in a house where your games were ordered from a paper catalogue that also sold cordless drills, gas heaters and sensible slacks, you know exactly what this feels like. You know the smell of that newsprint. You didn't get the games you wanted. You didn't get the games that were winning Game of the Year awards. You got the games that were on page 412, tucked between the lawnmowers and the 100% polyester tracksuits. For me, that meant 5 games. 4 of them changed my life and defined my love for the PlayStation. This one just ruined my weekends. Today we are tackling index number 9 and 10, Adidas Power Soccer 97 and 98. I haven't touched these games since I was 6 years old. I hate football. I hate the way that these polygons looked at me with their soulless, flat faces. And yeah, here we are. 1,270 games remain in a 5-year sprint. Let's see if I can survive 90 minutes on a pitch without my soul leaving my body. Welcome back to the PSX Index. I'm Parasine. We are on a mission to beat every North American PS1 game before GTA 6 makes us all irrelevant. We are currently at episode number 9, and frankly, I'm already looking for the exit. This episode is deeply personal, but not in the warm and fuzzy way. This is the final boss of my childhood collection. My brother and I played this constantly. Not because it was a masterpiece. We weren't idiots. We knew FIFA was better. We knew Actua Soccer felt more like a real thing. But because this is what we had. When you're 6, you don't have options. You don't have the curated library. You have the game that is currently in the console. Think about that for a second. We didn't have a backlog. We didn't have Steam sales. We had a paper book and a dream. And that dream was apparently to play a football game that didn't understand how legs worked. Because the index is a cruel mistress, we have to play both 97 and 98. It's the same game, just with a different year on the box and a slightly different shade of migraine-inducing green for the grass. The weirdest part of this whole saga, this game was made by Psygnosis, the titans, the legends behind Wipeout, Destruction Derby and Colony Wars. Usually when you see that iconic Blue Owl logo, you expect excellence, you expect style, you expect a soundtrack that makes your heart rate double. Instead, we got the Predator Kick. For the unentitled, the Predator Kick was a feature where your player would strike the ball and it would literally turn into a fireball, defying the laws of physics, gravity and common sense for a streak towards the goal at Mach 2. It was clearly Psygnosis admitting, look, we don't know how to make a football simulator, so here is some fire. Are you entertained yet? I remember sitting on the floor with my brother, arguing over who got to be France because they had the best stats. We'd spend hours trying to trigger these power moves, thinking it was the peak of human engineering. Now though, through the eyes of an adult, I realised we were just witnessing a software glitch being marketed as a feature. It's a game that doesn't want to be a sports game. It wants to be an arcade shooter, but forgot to include the guns. Psygnosis was at the peak of their power in 1997. They were the darlings of the PlayStation. They could do no wrong, and they looked at a football and said, what is this? A comic? That is the kind of 90s arrogance I can almost respect, even if it makes for a miserable gameplay experience for a man who just wants to see a proper pass. Let's talk about the Littlewoods catalogue for a second. In the UK, this was our Amazon. It was a massive book that smelled like a newsprint and a disappointment. It was divided into sections: furniture, applications, women's underwear, which, let's be honest, was the 90s version of the internet for a lot of us kids. And then at the very back, the video games. The images were always tiny. You'd see a screen capture of a player that looked like a blurry thumb, and you'd have to convince your parents to pay for it in weekly instalments. That was the trap. My parents didn't want to go to a game shop and pay 50 quid up front. They wanted to pay £2 a week for the next 3 years. And so Adidas Power Soccer entered my home. It wasn't a choice, it was a financial decision. Every time I see the Adidas logo now, I don't think of sports. I think of a 20-page spread of bunk beds and slow cookers. It is the official sport of the instalment plan. It is the game you play while your parents are discussing whether they can afford a new tumble dryer. Let's talk about the AI. It's legendary for all the wrong reasons. The players in this game don't react to the ball, they react to a vague suggestion that a ball might exist in their general vicinity. But the true stars of the show are the goalkeepers. The keepers in Adidas Power Soccer clearly attended the Steven Seagal School of Combat. Minimal effort, total confusion, a complete refusal to move more than 3 inches in any direction. They stand perfectly still, hands at the side, watching the ball roll past them with the kind of apathy you usually see in a DMV employee on a Friday afternoon. I've seen better reflexes from a bowl of lukewarm porridge. You can score from the halfway line because the goalie is busy contemplating the fertility of his own existence. My brother used to exploit this until I'd eventually throw the controller at the sofa. It's the first game in the index that actually makes me miss Tomb Raider's tank controls. At least Lara Croft moved when I pushed the button. These players move like they're trying to run through a swimming pool filled with treacle while wearing lead boots. Playing Adidas Power Soccer 97 in the year 2026 is an exercise in masochism. The graphics, well, they're there. The players have faces that look like they were once drawn by someone who once had heard a description of a human being but never actually seen one. The pitch is vibrant, neon green that seems designed to burn your retinas. I'm reasonably sure this game is why I need glasses now, but the sound is where the real horror lives. The commentary sounds like it was recorded in a tin can underwater.
Bad referee and the man needs glasses.
The man screams, but it sounds more like a cry for help, and the crowd is just a static loop of white noise. It sounds like a hairdryer being held against a microphone. It doesn't react to the game. You could be winning 10-0 or losing 5-0, and the crowd just continues to hiss at you with the indifference of the void. I spent 4 hours on the 97 version today. Do you know what I could have done in 4 hours? I could have learned a language. I could have cooked a gourmet meal. Instead, I watched the Polygon Frenchman fail to perform a side tackle for the 400th time. Now we move on to number 10, Adidas Power Soccer 98, the big sequel. Imagine my disappointment when I realised that 98 is just 97 with a hat on. It's the same engine, the same terrible physics, just with the updated roster that I, as a man who avoids sports like a plague, does not care about. This is the moment in the 1278 game challenge where the reality finally sets in. I am 9 games in, and I am already playing the same game twice. If I am suffering now, what is it going to be like when I hit the 400 generic sports title? When I'm deep in the trenches of Madden, 99, 2000, 2001, 2002, should I go on? The 98 version tried to add a bit more realism, which is a joke. They added more menus, that's it. More menus to navigate before you get to the broken gameplay. It's like putting a tuxedo on a pig. It's still a pig and it doesn't know how to play football. I'm doing this for the index. I'm doing this so that one day, when I finally reach game 1278, I can look back at this Adidas branded nightmare and laugh. But right now, I'm just wondering why the grass in 98 is even brighter than in 97. It's like they wanted to make sure that if the gameplay didn't give you a headache, the visuals certainly would. The power in the title comes from the arcade mechanics. You have a power meter. When it fills up, you can do things that would get you banned from any professional league on the planet. You can do a mega save, where the keeper grows to twice his size. You can do a hyper tackle, where you basically dropkick the opponent into the next console generation. It's a game built for people who hate football, and as someone who hates football, you'd think I'd love it, but the problem is that it's not fun. It's just chaotic. There is no strategy. You just run into a straight line until your meter is full. Then you hit the cheat button. My brother and I used to have a rule: no power moves. because once you use them, the game stops being a game and starts being a series of unskippable cutscenes of people falling over. We played this for years. Let that sink in. This was our main game. When I think about the thousands of hours I could have spent playing Chrono Trigger or Castlevania, I feel a physical pain in my chest. So why do we do it? Because in 1997, a game was an investment. You didn't have a backlog. My brother and I would play World Cup mode for 6 hours straight because the only other option was Tomb Raider, and we were genuinely too scared of the wolves in the first level to play that alone. Adidas Power Soccer was safe, it was stupid, it was broken, and it featured licensed boots that we thought made us play better, but it was ours. It represents a time before the internet told us what to think, before we had Metacritic scores to tell us a game was a 4 out of 10. To us, it was a 10 out of 10 because it was the only football game in the house. There's a beauty in the simplicity, even if the game itself makes me want to put my head through a wall today. There is something noble about mastering a bad game. It takes a level of dedication that modern gamers don't understand. We didn't complain about the frame rates. We just figured out exactly how many frames of lag the goalie had before he let the fireball through. This is a skill, a useless, soul-crushing skill, but a skill nonetheless. And that's it. The Littlewoods bundle is officially complete. The first 5 games of my life have been indexed, archived and processed. I never have to play Adidas Power Soccer again as long as I live. That is 10 games down, 1,268 to go. We've cleared the hurdles, we've survived the pitch, and now we finally get to the good stuff. You guys voted in the community poll, you had mercy on me, you saw me suffering and said, give the man a break. For episode 10, we are leaving the pitch and heading to a secret island research facility. We are playing Dino Crisis, survival horror, Shinji Mikami, dinosaurs that actually have better AI than these footballers. I am genuinely excited for this. It's going to be tense, it's going to be terrifying, and most importantly, it's not made by Adidas. I've been Parasine, the index is moving, the sprint continues. Go play something that makes you happy, because for the last 40 minutes, I've been very miserable. I'll see you at the research facility.